Hey, what is going on, guys? Lee Sanders here of the RCWR show, and I'm coming at you guys for this special edition as it is Friday, August 24th, 2018, covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. Welcome all. Hey, if it's your first time here, please do consider hitting the subscribe button so you never miss out on all the great content that we do for you on a week-to-week basis. Also, special shout out to those of you that maybe are checking out this album review via YouTube. Make sure on top of that subscribe button, you're also hitting the bell notification so you never miss out. All right, so we talked about one of the last Alice in Chains songs that was forthcoming from their album number 6. It's album number 6, Rainier Fog, and it actually was dropped earlier today. And if you were kind of like me and you didn't have to go to work, what a great way to kick off the weekend. You just pretty much wait until 12:01 a.m. Hey, who needs to go to Best Buy or who needs to go to Target? You can just hop on your favorite streaming platform device and you can get your Alice in Chains fix that way. So yes, Alice in Chains, they have released album number 6, Rainier Fog. This is their first outing with this album being released via BMG. But this is the third collaboration that they're doing with producer Nick Roscoelin. I always mispronounce that name. I want to make sure I'm giving him the proper respect. Nick Roscoelinitz. I believe I'm pronouncing that name. I've had to listen to how people pronounce his name a couple of times. So I'm still kind of, even though it's 3 albums in, I'm still having a tongue twister saying his name. You know why I'm starting to give him that respect and home in on his name, folks? It's because I have loved the outings that he's been able to do with the band. And it's just gotten to that point for me where I'm like, who is this guy? Where else can I hear him doing his work on as a producer? So that's the point that I'm at right now. But we're talking about album number 6 from Alice in Chains. I've eagerly been anticipating this, and I'm actually a little bit bummed out because normally when I do a Alice in Chains review, I actually have my Alice in Chains shirt on because I love representing my band, man. That's my band. I grew up on these guys. Have all their albums, have all of Jerry Cantrell's stuff, have all of William Duvall's stuff before he even came on board with Alice in Chains. And so, yes, definitely diehard AIC fan here. I gotta tell you, this album overall, under an hour, about 54 minutes, a couple of seconds extra. This was just a great roller coaster ride of an album. You went down so many twists and turns, and you're just kind of, honestly, after the 54 minutes are up, you're left going, damn, I want some more. Please, can I have some more? And I mean, for me, and I know probably one of the biggest questions that's going to be on a lot of people's minds is, okay, Lee, you've been following these guys since they've hooked up with William, and you've been there through thick and thin with these guys. You've seen their evolution. How does this album fare compared to the others? And I would have to say that when you're looking for vocal harmonies, when you're looking at the instrumentals, this album, with regards to this incarnation of Alice in Chains, it is their strongest effort yet. Let's jump there. Let's go ahead and let's talk about this album. I'm going track by track. Was listening to this album. I listened to this album 3 times, try to really get a good feel on this as far as track by track goes. Now look, the one, you know, we all had saw the music video for this. Really great. You know, for those of you that maybe didn't get around to seeing all the music videos and everything, the one, you know, this was basically a classic Alice in Chains song. Rich Dopo vocals, perfect harmony, sick ass freaking guitar, and I mean, that's just a great way to really just lure you in. It almost kind of had a Get Born Again vibe to it. Like, it would be a great B-side to the track Get Born Again with the late Lane Staley. And look, it only serves right that we do give Lane Staley that nod, because this week it would have marked Had he still been alive today, this week would have been his 50th birthday, and I actually did put out a nod to him on Twitter and on Facebook. So I think it's kind of interesting, and I wonder if anybody has had a chance to interview the Alice in Chains bandmates. I think it's kind of fitting that on the week of what would have been Lane's 50th, that this album drops. I believe in more than coincidences. Let me put it to you that way. But if it is a coincidence, it's a hell of a good coincidence. But the one classic AIC opener, really just lures you in, brings you in really damn good, I personally felt. Rainier Fog, great jam session as far as I was concerned. You experienced like a little bit of a lucid trance as far as I was concerned. It almost kind of comes off like a dream sequence type of song. It starts off a little bit heavy, but then it just does this 180 in the center, and you go around and find yourself in this lucid trance type of a journey that was just really, that was kind of unexpected. And we heard leading up to this album that band members were really experimenting with this when they kept saying to fans, look, it's going to be the AIC that you guys come to know and love, but we are going in a little bit of a different direction with our music. And you could definitely pick that vibe up with Rainier Fog, the second track out of this album. Good one here. Also got to give a nod to Mike Inez. Mike Inez really stands out on the bass lines more than on one occasion. We'll talk a little bit more about Mike later. Next track, Red Giant. This was actually a very nightmarish, sadistic track as far as I was concerned. It was like a creeping boogeyman, if you will. Sean Kinney on the drums. Sick, freaking killer on this bad boy. I mean, he had a nice snarling vibe effect going on with the drumming on this one. I also love the touch of the distorted vocals on here. On this track, Red Giant, William Duvall really on this particular track, but throughout the whole album, but this one really stands out the most, really channeling the late Lane Staley. And I know you're probably going to have a lot of people, a lot of diehards, because Lane, that was it for them. Don't try to give them somebody else. Lane was it. But when you listen to this effort and you listen to the amount of energy, the amount of creativity that William put overall on this album, his footprints is all over. I mean, it is really dominating. It really feels as though Jerry Cantrell tried to be a little bit more playful, a little bit more interactive with William. But I do have a bone to pick with regards to Jerry working with William. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I think a majority of you William Duvall fans will definitely agree with me. You might get the idea of where I'm going with that. But regardless, Red Giant, loved it. Duvall really sounding like Lane Staley on this particular track. Track 4, Fly. Nice acoustic electric blend that we have right here. It actually kind of had a No Excuses vibe, believe it or not. That's one of my all-time favorite albums aside from Facelift and Dirt. I really had loved the Jar of Flies EP. But it actually has a little bit of a No Excuses. If you remember that song, it has a No Excuses vibe to it. Out of all the tracks, this one actually came a little bit short for me, because despite the nice arrangements with the acoustics and how the electric guitar eventually comes in, I mean, it's a great mix. It's a great combination of both, right? And despite the fact that you had such great instrumentals with that track, it just comes up short. It comes up short because this track, for me, it feels a bit unfinished. It feels like it had so much potential to really go to that next level, but it came up just a little bit short. And out of the 10 tracks, this actually, sadly for me, I could have done without. I actually would have left this off the album. Now, some people may beg to differ on that one, but I just really felt that it had the potential to be a really strong, powerful song, but it just came up a little bit flat for me. To each its own. Track 5, Drone. Oh, Drone. Thick, heavy guitar riffs. That's what I want you to think about when you think about Drone. Whew. Nice, good, heavy guitar arrangements on this one. You bass lovers out there, because you're all about that bass, that bass, that bass. Give me that bass, bass. You guys will actually love Mike with his bass arrangements on here. Fucking fantastic job. There is a nice bending hook that's done by Jerry Cantrell as he pretty much goes into setting up the chorus almost. I want to say the bending hook comes on the second verse of Drone. And you're going, ooh, Jerry, the king of the riffs, man. We just gotta bow down to Jerry. Seriously, Jerry. And you know, I was going to talk about this a little bit later, but overall, another thing that I had enjoyed about this album finds Jerry Cantrell at his most strongest yet vocally. And I gotta tell you, Jerry has come a long way. Like I said at the very top, big Alice in Chains fan, big Jerry Cantrell. I got pretty much any and everything that all of these guys have done, okay? Individually or whatever, okay? I got it all. And when I look at Jerry Cantrell in particular, Jerry Cantrell has come a long way as a vocalist. I remember a time where when the Boggy Depot album had first dropped, and then that was followed up with Degradation Trip, a lot of people kind of felt that he had a little bit of a Tommy Lee vibe that was going on, and that actually wasn't a compliment. Like, when you think Tommy Lee, you think drums, but everybody remembers when Tommy Lee did his whole thing with Methods of Mayhem. Yeah, I'm one of those guilty people that actually went out and bought Methods of Mayhem, and I must admit, I still push that album to its day, but the vocals are, nothing really to really want to relish in. But Jerry has come a long way, I personally feel, from Boggy Depot and Degradation Trip. He really, really has. And I don't really think he gets enough due as it is. And he really showcased his vocals on this album. But Drone, yeah, thick, nice, heavy arrangements. Mike killing it on the bass once again. Jerry Cantrell really standing out on this one, on vocals and on the guitar. Nice, mean solo. Nice twists and turns that you find yourself when you're listening to this song, because, you know, it feels like you're going in this rabbit hole, and it feels like you kind of have an idea where you're going, but then all of a sudden, as you're going down this rabbit hole, just abruptly, you're now like going down this other path that I'm not really sure where I'm going, but then you kind of go back to the original path that you were on initially. Drone, very interesting standout track. Track number 6, Deaf Ears, Blind Eyes. Again, that track is titled Deaf Ears, Blind Eyes. Incredible vocals by Cantrell. For me, this kind of felt like, you guys remember What the Hell Have I? I thought that as far as Jerry showing a lot of promise as a singer, like everything starts with that track. If you're a diehard AIC fan and you guys remember What the Hell Have I, you're going, all right, Jerry. And he kind of had, like, when you listen to that, when it had, you could almost kind of say in a weird way that What the Hell Have I was almost kind of like Alice in Chains' Kashmir, right? Led Zeppelin's Kashmir, if you will. Well, when I look at Deaf Ears, Blind Eyes, it almost has a Western safari type of vibe to it. And if for you guys that didn't listen to this song yet, peep what I'm saying, but those of you that did listen and you don't hear it, depends on how many times you listen to this, go back and you'll definitely pick up that interpretation that I'm talking about. But it feels like a very unique safari trip that you're on. And it definitely feels, of all the tracks on this album, this one feels the most dramatic departure of any Alice in Chains song that you ever come across up until this point, I would have to say, right? Very interesting. Very interesting. And creatively, I would have to say that this is their most strongest yet experimental track that they've put out under this formation for the bandmates. I would have to say most creatively, as far as experimenting goes, this one I really, really enjoyed. To see that this would not eventually become a radio play friendly song, I'd be disappointed, because I really think it has the capabilities of being radio friendly, right? Track 7, Maybe. Nice acapella setup for this song. William and Jerry going back and forth on this one. Very simplistic, pretty much a nice acoustic track. Think a little bit Jar of Flies, but think more Boggy Depot from Jerry Cantrell with regards to this one. Mike Enos, he does it once again on the bass, really killing it. Jerry lays down probably some of the most beautifulest vocals that you'll ever come across on this album, on this particular track. And a nice electric hook that comes in towards the end, setting up this song. I hope you guys are appreciating the album review so far. If you are, make sure you smash that like button, and feel free to give me a follow on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. Use the RCWR show, you Twitch guys. That's twitch.tv.com/RCWR show. And do consider being a Patreon member, where you can check out more bonus content, video and audio content. Patreon.com/RCWR show. We got 3 more tracks to talk about. Let's go there. Track number 8 for you William Duvall fans. So Far Under. William Duvall wrote this song. William Duvall pretty much did all the arrangements for this one. Look, man, William Duvall, as far as I was concerned, he hit the sweet spot on this album. Give the man his props. Now, look, ever since he came in on Black Gives Way to Blue, you're going, okay, let me learn a little bit more about this William dude. I'm a little bit on the fence, because, man, there's only one Lane Staley. I don't know about this William dude. Let me see here. And then when you go back to Black Gives Way to Blue, one of the first outings that you hear from William is Last of My Kind. And you're going, ooh, damn, that's sick. Okay, William, I see what you're doing. All right, man, I'm with you. And then you go to Devil Put Dinosaurs here. And you're going, yeah, William, you know, he was just lucky. He just, whatever. You go to The Devil Put Dinosaurs here, and freaking William, he does Phantom Limb. You're going, ooh, go ahead. All right, William, I see you. Okay. This one for me, So Far Under. William does a fantastic job. I mean, for me, it just feels like at this point when you're listening to him on this particular track, now he has, not that he ever lacked in confidence, but it really comes off now. He has the bravado. Now he has the swagger. Now he's really finding his groove with the band. And I gotta get to this point. I was going to talk about it after the review, but while we're talking about this, if there's one thing that is just a huge oversight, I personally feel, until the band says differently in interviews with regards to promoting this album, it really feels as though ever since William came on board, Jerry is so hands-on. This is Jerry's baby, and I get that. I really do. And you'll have some situations where Jerry will work with Mike and Sean, and they'll operate that way. But for the most part, Jerry, it's all Jerry. This is Jerry's baby. And what I would personally love to see happen going forward on future Alice in Chains albums, I've actually been one of the first that have been saying it since Black Gives Way to Blue. And this was like pretty much long before William joined the band, as I was checking out his old band, Comes With the Fall, and I really love what he was doing. So for me to hear that he was coming on board Alice in Chains, I'm going, my God, these guys got a godsend. What this guy is capable of doing as a songwriter, as a musician, oh yeah, they need to tap into that. And for me, it's great hearing one or two songs where William is doing a little bit of a spotlight, like with So Far Under, but I'm still eagerly anticipating, okay, when can we kind of have it go back to like how it was when Lane was in the band, and Lane would have like about, 4-5 songs or whatever, and Jerry would have, I'm still looking for that. And I think that any other musician, I probably wouldn't even be tripping as much, but to know about William Duvall's catalog prior to Alice in Chains, I'm still waiting on that album where William can dominate a little bit more, or at least come up with half of the stuff as far as writing and really taking the lead, being a little bit more dominant. So I really hope that after this third outing, Jerry kind of takes a little bit of a step back and hooks William up a little bit more. Because I'm telling you, by the time you hear William on this one, you're going, oh, God, it's about freaking time, man. It's about freaking time. All right. But yeah, that one for me, So Far Under. God damn. Great poise, great bravado, nice swagger and style that's coming from William. I love this track more than Phantom Limb. And the reason why, for those of you that's going to be like, why? Phantom Limb, as great of a song as it was by William, let's be honest, it was just all about the hook. Right? Just picture that. Just close your eyes and picture those guys when they were doing Phantom Limb, and they're just and you're going, damn, that's a nice ass riff. Okay, let's just build a song around that. When you really get right down to Phantom Limb, it just pretty much was about the riff. It was about the hook. That's pretty much it. And it was just looped over and over again. And like, when you first listen to that song, you're like, all right, that's pretty damn good. But go back and try to replay that whole album. There's no way you're going to be listening to that particular track 3, 4, 5 times. You're going to get a little bit played out after the second, maybe third attempt. Just being honest. I'm not saying it's a bad song. It's just when you get right down to the heart of the matter, Phantom Limb is just all about the riff. Whereas So Far Under, oh, they're really playing around. William is. He's really playing around with this one. So, strongest for you William Duvall fans. Now, William would follow up a little bit after this one on the next track, track 9, Never Fade. And I like how him and Jerry bounce off of each other when it comes to singing the verses. William's dominating a little bit, but when it comes to pretty much setting up the Never Fade hook and everything, they're both basically partnering up. Great melodies, great harmonies, man. Really great. Now, Sean, we got to give him a lot of props because Sean is really the heartbeat for this particular track. Sean is just guiding along this song on the drums, and he's power drumming his way through this bad boy. I really had enjoyed this one. Guides it along very, very well. For me, think of the Alice in Chains Dirt album, and if they were to do a Dirt 2.0, Never Fade, it feels part of from that era. Put it to you this way. I would love to see this one as the next radio friendly song that gets played on air. When I say radio friendly, I'm not throwing any shade. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just saying, like, okay, what's the next song that could be on the radio? What sounds like, yeah, this needs airplay? Never Fade sounds like it needs that radio airplay. So great song right there. Track 10. I wasn't really sure about this one. And by the way, Never Fade, great homage there, basically, to Langston Lee, Chris Cornell. Really, and so fitting, too, because it's Langston Lee, the week that if he were still alive, he would have been 50 years old today. Missed that guy tremendously. I was just saying the other day, one of my favorite songs from Lane. I mean, I have so many personal favorites, but I would have to say from Mad Season, River of Deceit. I mean, it has tragedy, it has pain, it has sorrow. Some of the most beautiful vocals that Lane ever laid down while he was living, all just rolled up into one. And when you really kind of stop and you think about that particular song pretty much sums up the life of Lane Staley in a nutshell. Beautiful and, you know, yet so tragic, basically, you know. But All I Am, to close out this album, this was a bit of a rolling of the dice, if you will, because for me, I really wasn't sure if this was the type of song that the band really should have been closing out the album on. Because I'm going, I think maybe you should have ended it on Never Fade, since you're kind of going out on a little bit of a rock vibe, if you will. But they go out on this very chilling, very eerie, very sad tone. It's a very somber tone that they're going out on, yet it's such a powerful ballad, if you will. But I felt it was very risky for them to do it, but it paid off. I must say it did pay off. I really wasn't sure. I was a little bit on the fence about this one. I actually had to go back and listen to the album again in its entirety like 2 more times. And when I got to this track, you know, the second time I'm going, no, it should have ended with Never Fade. But by the third time I'm going, okay, you know what? No, this is fine. You know, this is actually okay. But yeah, very chilling, very eerie closure to a really awesome, great album as far as I'm concerned. So at the end of the day, as far as whether or not this album gets a pass or if it's a fail, I would have to say this album gets a pass. I would say go out there, go buy it. You got some money to burn. Some of you guys just got paid, right? Got to hit that Johnny Kemp song. Just got paid Friday night and mood is right. Okay. Money in my pocket. You just got paid, right? You know, you're going to probably be like me. You're going to go to your local record store, vinyl or whatever. You got some money to burn. I would say add this to your collection. It is a buy. Because I'm honest with you guys. If I feel there's an album that's weak, I don't care who the band is. I don't care if it's U2. I don't care who it is. If I'm not feeling the album, I'm going to give it to you straight. But this is an album, I would say it is a pass. Go out there, go buy it. If you're still a little bit on the fence after hearing my review, then I would recommend you just hop on iTunes, Spotify, preview a couple of songs, do it that way. And, you know, look, let me put it to you this way. Unlike some people that will put out album reviews, a lot of the people that put out the album reviews, they're sadly doing the 5-finger discount. They're getting their albums, you know, under the table. They're going to the torrent sites and all that. And, you know, I always say if you really respect the artist, jump out there and when the album drops, buy it and, you know, go that way, because when it's all said and done, now more than ever, we need to be supporting these artists and the great content that they try to put out for us, you know, because it's just being respectful, man. But yeah, you know, go preview a couple of songs and all that. But I definitely want to know what you guys think of the new Alice in Chains album. So definitely drop those comments. And depending on how you're checking this out, I know if you're going to be watching this via YouTube, you'll definitely see the chat replay. So you'll be able to see what some of the people had said that were able to join us for the live stream of this. But definitely leave your comments below, and you can definitely get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at the RCWR Show. If there's an album you would like for me to consider reviewing on a future edition of the RCWR Show, sound off. Let me know through those respected outlets. And that is going to do it. But once again, Alice in Chains, Rainier Fog, it gets a pass. We're not doing the 7 stars. We're not doing that. It's either a pass or it's a fail. It is a strong ass pass. Go out there this weekend, buy that album up. You will not be disappointed. That's going to do it. Hey, hope you enjoyed. If you did, do hit that like button. Also consider subscribing so you never miss out on all the great content that comes your way on a weekly basis for you YouTubers. Also hit that bell icon so that you never miss out on all future notifications, especially when we're getting ready to go live, right? That's going to do it. You guys have a fantastic weekend. I'm wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Keep rocking on, my pretty babies. Take care.